Hello and welcome to the Rag Company podcast. I'm Dane Hennen. To my right, Levi Gates.
What's up, guys?
And below me, Anthony Fisher.
Hey.
And there's no Morgan McMurry this week. She'll be here tomorrow, but she's not here in time for the podcast. So sorry, Morgan, but you're missing this one. Hopefully you're having a fun trip. But at any rate, guys, we had some stuff happen over the weekend. There's a little storminess between all the hot days we've been having here. So it's been a little bit of a whirlwind adventure over the weekend. I don't know about you guys.
Well, we had some snow up in the mountains, which is always a delightful time. And then it was
at this time of year,
like 40 degrees yesterday. It's cold. It's very cold.
Remember, guys, we're in the desert. So when it's cold, it's cold. When it's hot, it's really hot. So it's extremes all the way around.
So Dane, what'd you do this weekend?
Honestly, not that much. I said whirlwind adventure, but really I kind of stuck around the house. I did, however, do some work around here in the studio, spent a little time there on Saturday, but obviously Saturday we had the PNS event.
Yeah,
we did over at Sydney's
meeting. Duplessis was in town this week, so we worked on the wash bay, got that all going, and then Saturday was our big PNS distributor meeting that PNS set up. We would have been in Big Bear, California for the distributor meeting originally, but because it was canceled, they decided to do it virtually. So we just did it through Zoom.
Yeah, and it worked pretty well, all things
fun.
Considered.
While we were on, I got to see some text messages from everybody, some of the other distributors around the country and around the world that were watching, commenting on us. So pretty sweet. So
yeah,
nice.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah, so we did that. But Dane, what else did you do? You got the Jag detailed on Friday, didn't you?
I did. Sydney detailed the Jag, so now it is as good as it's ever going to look. I'm convinced is pretty much this is the limit. So I want to keep it looking that way until the car show, Track Shark car show, on the 20th. Which incidentally, it's also Liz's birthday, so I'm gonna have to make that up. But we got a long weekend following.
You take her out to the car show, take her out in the Jag.
Yeah, she doesn't really have an interest in those things. So.
Yeah. Do some rolling burnouts, Dane.
Yeah.
So, probably could after the show.
Yeah. So what did I had a question. So Friday the Jag was at the Sydney's getting detailed.
Mm-hmm.
Saturday was dumping rain. And you were driving to Tacoma, correct?
Correct.
On Saturday. And then Sunday, what'd you do then?
Sunday, what I did then was I stayed home for the most part. I didn't do a whole lot. It was dumping rain. I did get my dog detailed as well. So She was, in her fine, fluffy form. So she was feeling much better too after, She likes to go play in the yard in the dirty spots, of course, being a dog that's white fur all over it.
It was nice and muddy.
So, yeah. Oh, yeah, it's great. So really enjoyed that. But now she's clean and much softer. So that's awesome. She's a Pyrenees, so she's got fur for days. But as far as stuff on Sunday, I played around a little bit with some like spoiler lip trim, that cheesy like Ricer stuff where people stick it under their cars. I thought, just have a little bit of fun. Let's try it under the chin of the Jag, see what that looks like. Just because when I'm looking online, every other car, I have this habit of picking vehicles, right, that have like zero aftermarket support, because all the interesting cars to me have no aftermarket support. But if you want to get a Civic or something, then hey, you got stuff,
that means
millions of pages of results for stuff to put on your Civic, because hey, lots of people have them, therefore there's a business case to be made. You can make a lot of products for them. Oh, I don't know. It's not like you're all day Anthony or anything, so you don't have to worry about being offended by what I'm saying here. But
I
at any rate,
friends with that guy. I am not him. So that's it.
So so I took some of that just like wonderful cheese ball, like AutoZone carbon fiber trim. Just like, let's see what it looks like underneath the nose of the Jag. Right. I was shocked. I showed Anthony a picture. It actually looked really pretty good.
It did.
Because when I looked online for what the chin splitters and stuff for my XKR cost, if I got like XKRS body kit stuff, it costs $13,000 if you want the whole kit. But if you want to just get certain parts, it's like $1,000 or so for like different elements of it. So maybe go the cheap route, just see what it looks like first. So I was surprised. It actually looked pretty good. Maybe I'll share a picture of something here. But The problem was the one I used, the adhesive wasn't that great, and it ended up kind of falling off after a little bit. So I said,
Did
screw
you
it.
make sure you paint prep that bottom?
Oh yeah, yeah. No,
Yeah,
I used an adhesion promoter and an alcohol wipe before that. So I actually cleaned the whole area beforehand
Did you
because
do
it
the
came with it
alcohol wipe
in its little
first
kit.
and then the adhesion promoter?
Correct.
Or did you do the other way around?
No, obviously not. Why would you alcohol swipe? Yeah. So no, I did it in the correct order, but I gave it time too to actually clear up.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I gave it a shot, but it also came with screws in the kit, and I didn't want to screw into anything. It was like it had tape plus screws. And it was
Yeah.
like, if you need to, add these screws. And I'm like, I'm not drilling into my Jags bumper for this. But I thought it'd just be kind of fun. So I like the look of it. I might get a better kit that might hold better with more, actual surface area that attaches with 3M tape. We'll see if it looks all right. The part I didn't like, and I think people in the comments could weigh in on this, those cheesy ones, they're cheesy if they're done poorly or they look like bacon where they're all wavy, right? I mean, it looks garbage. This one though was actually very firm, so it lined up perfectly. It looked really solid. It didn't look like it was just, a floppy mess. The problem was where it terminates at the edges of the bumper when it gets to the wheel well, you can obviously tell it's just tacked on. So that would be something where I'd be like, I got to come up with a way to kind of make it more flush or whatever. But and it was just fun. I was just trying something.
I
So
had one of those
yeah,
on my,
it doesn't hurt.
actually, I think in that picture I have it on the Elantra
Mhm.
right behind me here. There's on the bottom, right at the very bottom, there's a little bit of that rubber spoiler
Yeah.
foam at the
Well,
bottom.
and you've got like a little
I had it
roof
for a
strip
long
with
time.
like that universal spoiler roof strip thing, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
little ducktail
Nice little
back
touch.
there.
Yeah,
It's garage
of
weather
course.
stripping is what it is.
That
Yeah.
keeps the downforce, builds downforce, keep the rear end planted.
On
When
such a
You
high
need it.
performance machine, it's needed.
yeah, well, that Tippy sway bar is designed to keep it more,
Keep it
square
grounded.
pavement.
Yeah.
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 And then this just accentuates that by providing a lot of additional downforce.
Wow.
over the rear
Yeah.
compartment.
So those were kind of the things I played around with. But I did want to point out, since we like to talk about detailing here and stuff, some of the things Sydney did to the Jag, I was really impressed with. This glass polish she used was really, really good stuff. It actually cleared up a lot of things I thought weren't going to go away.
Yeah,
But it helped with clarity, and she was right. It reduced, like, when you're driving at night, you kind of get those kind of particular lens flares almost, where it's kind of that starry quality you get and stuff in the distance if it hits you with reflection just right. It got rid of a lot of those little things you see because, frankly, nice as a car as it is, when you clean up the glass, there's still like little sandblasted imperfections and stuff in it because
yeah,
it was a car that was
Yeah.
driven a lot, just put on the road,
It
and
was
it
driven
was an
across the
enjoyed
country.
car. Yeah,
yeah. You
guy
drove
did
it
the
from
tail of the
Texas
dragon in it and all that stuff,
to
and he
Idaho.
was in Texas, so that tells you he drove all the way up there and back. So yeah, that was that was a little bit of something. But no, like, I did that whole road trip too, from Texas to Idaho. So yeah, it got some love, but at the same time, that's why I like it. It's a driver. It's not meant to be perfect, but at the same time, it's a really fun car. So I'm loving it so far. I haven't fallen out of love with it, so don't worry. The car's not going anywhere. I know people are making jokes like, "Oh, here goes Dane with the cycle again." It's like, no, that one's staying. But everything else, your time could come up at any time. You never know. Anyway,
Oh.
that was my weekend. So moving down the line, Anthony, what happened on your weekend?
Hey guys, Anthony with the Rad Company here, coming to talk to you about my weekend and how we got this thing started. So, actually, it wasn't as exciting as I would have wanted it to be. Well, let's just say it wasn't my car is broken down on the side of the road doing an alternator underneath of a scissor jack exciting.
That should
So
be
it
a
was
good
actually, yeah, it was a good thing. No, so
How
Friday night
many
was
did you end
actually
up going through before we go too far? How many did you end up
total
having to get into?
alternators with three total alternators totally.
Oh,
So,
three.
and because basically you guys didn't hear the story of what, so after I had swapped it out from the previous weekend, right, it still wasn't perfect. Like the car was running, but the battery light was still on, right? And so basically it said that the alternator was bad itself, but it was holding a charge kind of temporarily. It just wasn't getting fully charged. So that's when we went to go put in the new alternator. Took that one out, went and got it tested. It of course failed. Got the new alternator from the store. As we were walking out, the guy's like, "Let me just do one quick check." And so we make sure it passes. But the alternator had a bad bearing. It was spinning and making a ton of noise. He's like, okay, so we don't want this one. So then we went and got another alternator from Kuna, Idaho. Got that alternator, drove back to my house, went to start installing it, and then we realized that the threads on the alternator bracket mount were messed up. So we took the alternator back out of the car, went back to the store, tapped it, brought it back home, and installed it. So needless to say, I don't ever want to change an alternator again on that Civic. So we went through about 3 of them, and it was just probably a half-hour job that turned into about a 12-hour job because of all the time we put in. So that kind of sucked, but is what it is. But going back to Friday was pretty chill. I remember the weather was kind of starting to kind of slowly turn at that point, but what I wanted to do was get Katie's car washed and get some stuff done around the house. Take my new mower out for a spin. Stretch its legs a little bit. Go
Crack VTEC.
Basically let her breathe a little bit, right? You know what I'm saying? And so basically mow the lawn. That thing, still love that Honda mower, and washed Katie's car, got it all cleaned up. It rained over the weekend, but she wasn't planning on going anywhere. So the idea was like, if I can get it cleaned and then just keep it in the garage, it should be good to go. So, but got that cleaned up, kind of hung out, didn't do a whole lot. Saturday, was a pretty chill day. I mean, I wouldn't say a whole lot happened. Ran some errands around town, went to Home Depot, got some, patio furniture covers because that new patio furniture I got was getting hammered by the weather. And then next to that, man, I went to the grocery store for the first time. And since the whole coronavirus thing kicked in, I have
Wait, what have you been doing since then? That's been a while. How have you been getting groceries?
Correct. Yeah. So you're probably wondering, how have you survived this long? Well, yeah. Katie has gone to the store, and then Katie's mom has been making weekly trips to Costco, and she just asks if we need anything, and we just pay her back. So I've been surviving off of bulk food and then small snacks that Katie gets. So this was my first time going to the actual store.
Actually,
dude, it was kind of weird, man. Like walking in there, and everything was still like normal and fine, but I'm like, wow, I haven't walked down a grocery aisle for months, and this is kind of strange. So I don't know, but
all the markings on the floor for 6 feet and all that.
Yeah, pretty much. Nobody was following that, of course, but
no,
whatever.
They don't.
No, they don't at all. Sold a helmet. I bought a helmet a couple of years ago for $30 at a garage sale. Sold it for $200. So I'm all about flipping stuff if I can do it and make some money. I like doing it on very specific things. Like if I know the value of a specific item or a specific topic or something like that, then I typically can understand, okay, I can make some money off of this, right? In due time. I can play with it, use it, do whatever I want, or just immediately flip it and make some money. So motorcycle helmets are one thing where I know the value of them. I know how much they're worth. I know how much people are willing to pay. It's an odd niche thing to be into.
No, you do that. But you did this thing where we went to the junkyard to go find us a door, or not a door, but like a hood or a seat or something. And while we were doing that, you're like, oh my gosh, that's a blah, blah, blah cup holder. Those are really rare. I need this. It's like, you're about car parts the way I am about whole cars. Like you need that specific niche, obscure thing, and
Anthony
then you can
flip
it later online.
But I think the biggest difference, Dane, is that I make money on the things I sell.
Just light me on fire, man.
Anthony will find an ashtray.
That's a bird.
Anthony will find an ashtray for a car for $5 at the junkyard, resell it for $50, and make his money back. Dane,
the cars I like, I will never make money on, and I've embraced that. I understand that going in, that I am not going to be making money on the kind of cars that I like. I just won't. If I do, it'll be some kind of miracle.
More.
But
that's all. Just spend more money on them.
Yeah, it's
except for the Tacoma, maybe the Tacoma.
I just like finding deals like that. That's my favorite thing, is just being able to find things for a cheap price and then be able to resell them, or whatever I want to do. So but I did that. I did mow the lawn before, like I said, before all the rain kicked in, because once it started raining, I mean, that was when everybody was just kind of stuck inside. So I played a lot of Call of Duty, and then did some stuff around the house. Me and Katie cleaned out our spare bedroom because we had a bunch of wedding stuff from last year the boxes that we just never went through, of old decorations. So I threw away about, I would say it was about a 55-gallon bag of greenery from a wedding. I tried to sell it, tried to say, hey, is anybody going to buy this? And nobody wanted to
Greenery.
buy
Now,
it.
what do you mean by greenery?
Fake plant leaves.
Oh, so
You know,
they're
like the
fake.
big
They're not real.
vines.
Because I was
Yeah,
like, how
yeah,
did they
no.
survive?
No, so
Cool.
it's like fake. They just call it greenery. That's like the term they use.
Okay.
But yeah. So I was telling Katie, I'm like, hey, so what am I supposed to do with this? She's like, I don't know, probably throw it away. I'm like, well, how much was this stuff? And she's like, I'm not going to tell you how much it was because you're going to be mad when you throw it away. So she's like, try to give it away or donate it, and if nobody wants it, throw it away. So yeah, that ended up going in the trash. But that was it, man. I mean, like I said, I cleaned up Katie's car. I did her monthly wash on the car. This time I did soap and water, washed it with Optimum Car Wash, pre-sprayed with Optimum Car Wash, got the wheels cleaned up and tires cleaned up with Brake Buster, full strength because it needed it. And then for my drying aid this time, I actually used McKee's waterless wash as my drying aid. So really good product. Smells good. Smells like watermelon. How do I say this? It doesn't really leave a very slick feel behind. It's not super slick, but it is a nice it's a good experience product to use. I had a good time using it and I had fun using it. But I would say that if you already have like a waterless wash in your arsenal that you already like, it's not worth picking up another one, basically, is what I'm trying to say.
So before you go too far ahead, now you found that to be fairly nice. How do you feel about that in comparison to the rinseless wash, the N914?
Dane, do you really want to go down this road? Because we can.
No, I was just curious, because I hear people talk online and like, oh, I hear it's better than O&R, but I'm curious to know what your guys' feedback is, what you're finding when you tried it out.
So in 914, the McKee's rinseless wash, right?
Mm-hmm.
We tried it several months ago for the first time. Basically, me and Levi are on the same page. It is not O&R, right? It does not feel like O&R. There's something different about it that's not O&R. And it's, how do I say this? It's not bad, but it's different than it's different.
Clearly different chemistry.
It's different than what we're used to, and I don't know if I don't like it as much because it's different, or if I don't like it as much because I don't think it's maybe as good or as effective. But all I know is that I've gotten so good with O&R, and I understand the chemistry of that product and how it works, that using N914, if I didn't immediately get the same gratification or satisfaction out of that product that I would normally get from O&R, I'm probably not going to get. I'm probably going to be more inclined to say that I don't like it as much. And
no, that's fair. That's kind of the feedback I was looking for, though, because some people who may be used to one thing, just giving them a sense to know where your guys' heads are at in terms of using products. It's not that anything's better or worse. It's just different.
As Levi says, O&R has the ability to eat. It has the ability to release dirt. It has the ability to break down dirt. Whereas in 914 doesn't have that as much.
It doesn't eat. You make a bucket of the two products side by side. You stick your hands in it. They feel about the same. They spray the same. They go on the same. The difference lies in the ability of O&R to, what I see from the years I've been using it, and the weekly washing and daily washing of certain vehicles and things with O&R. Like Anthony said, the way I've said it is O&R can eat that organic material and break it down very rapidly. And so you almost feel that. So in essence, you spray O&R on a surface, you put O&R on a surface. The dirt on that surface gets encapsulated inside that bubble and then starts to be emulsified by the O&R. The emulsification process is where it breaks down that dirt, dust, and organic material until it's finer and finer and finer, right? That's the actual chemical process happening on the inside of the surface. Then on the surface, that little bubble, that zwitterionic bubble of O&R, is then rolls along the surface while keeping that organic compound inside the bubble. N914 on paper probably does that. I don't know enough about it, but I'm sure that's what it is based on what Ivan has told us. But it misses that. Just I feel like O&R breaks products down just a little bit better.
Okay. No,
But I may
that's
be
what I was
looking at
looking to hear.
something.
I was curious.
But I may be, Anthony and I may be looking at something that is maybe like 2% of the industry or of detailers would ever notice.
Right. Yeah. You guys are so deep in this stuff that you notice those subtle differences, but to a lot of people, it may strike them as completely, same across the board. They may not notice any difference
Well, a lot of
whatsoever.
people
But
have reached out. A lot of people have posted. They love Van
yeah,
914.
yeah.
Cool.
No, I see it
Awesome.
all the time.
Love it.
Lots of
It's
people seem
great.
to like it. So
We wanted to try it because everybody loved it. And of course, Ivan is a brand ambassador for McKee's, and we wanted to play with it. And we love the McKee's guys. And it's like, sure, let us play with it. But it's like it's 90% of the way there, you know.
okay.
Um,
Now
and
I
that's
got a
what
question
I kind of
here.
noticed is a lot of other rinseless products all
Mhm.
fall in that 70 to 90% range, but none of them are 100% or better than O&R. That makes
Right. Now, what I'm hearing here is like for those who are kind of curious and they've tested different products, you remember a lot of people didn't realize, oh, you can actually use like say P&S Pearl, which is a soap, like a rinseless wash. Is it more
right.
akin to that kind of experience
Kind
when
of,
you're
yeah.
using it?
Where Pearl doesn't
So it reminds you more of like using the soap as a rinseless than
kind of,
like
yeah,
O and R.
because rinseless,
Okay.
some rinselesses are just soap-based products.
Yeah.
Others are,
Polymer.
soy polymers or, you know, uh, non, you know,
Yeah.
non-soy
No,
polymers.
that's what I was
Basically.
kind of looking
So
to see. But
there's a
no,
bunch of
that's
different,
perfectly good because you
there's
guys
a
have a
bunch of
lot of
different things,
experience down
you
this,
know.
and
Well,
I
it's
know
like
folks
Pearl.
were
Like
curious.
I said, Pearl you can use as a rinseless. It doesn't act the same way as O&R. So that's why we've always said like
Correct.
it works great on a coated vehicle. It doesn't really work great as a everyday wash for a
On a
day.
bare vehicle, yeah.
Yeah, it's just not. It's
Yeah.
not quite the same. So there's varying differences, and again, Anthony and I are probably overthinking this, but
Sure.
that's kind of what we're doing. We're trying to get to the bottom of figuring out like certain rinses and how they're working and what's working right, what's working best, and why this works this way. And it's just
Well,
what we do
we
for
can,
ourselves.
yeah, and I can give another couple examples. I mean, I'll just outright say it. So, we've used Wipeout a lot from American
Yeah.
Detailer Garage.
Yeah, ADG.
First off, I'll say that I freaking love the smell of it. I think it smells
Mhm.
fantastic. It's a great smell and good looking product. But it does also not feel like O&R. It's a product that also feels different. It does feel slick. I will give it that. But the way that product feels, it feels like a very diluted quick detailer, if that makes sense, right?
Mm.
It doesn't feel like when I for example, if I were to wipe an area with Wipeout with a wet rag with Wipeout on it, I wipe that area, not a whole lot will come off onto that rag, right? But then I go over that same area again with a rag, dunked in O&R, and then I pull off all this dirt off on that, and then the rag shows all this dirt. So it makes me wonder, like, is
Hmm.
the American Detailer Garage kind of either not cleaning as much, or is the O&R, have extreme cleaning abilities? I have no idea, but I just find myself kind of going back to O&R. And then here, not too long ago, I got my hands on some Wolfgang Uber and
Mm.
took
Another
that
very
for
popular one.
took that thing for a rip. And you know what? I have nothing but good things to say about it. So I'd say it's another great rinseless option. So between O&R and Wolfgang Uber, I think that the people would be happy with either or. And so it's just kind of a matter of where your budget is, because Wolfgang
Yeah.
Uber is roughly twice to three times the cost of O&R, which
Yeah,
is
what did it
pretty,
work out to a gallon were you seeing online?
like I for a gallon of Uber, I think it's around $69 to $79, whereas a gallon of O&R is about $39.
Yeah.
So
What are the
it's
dilutions for reference for people, since you're buying one product?
well,
Does one go further than the other with the same volume, or
so Uber is 1 ounce to 3 gallons of water, whereas
okay?
O&R would be an ounce to 2 gallons of water technically. So it's a little more technically it's supposed to be more concentrated. I'm not really sure. But regardless, those are both of my two favorite rinseless washes on the market right now that I've played with. O&R is still king in my opinion, just because of its versatility. But I would say that, I mean, it's a good question, Dane. I mean, I think that rinseless
I
and
wanted to push it
waterless
because I know it's going to ruffle some feathers, but I was very curious to hear your
So
guys' real feedback, because people are
yeah,
always asking. If you're used to something, it's hard to give up that
it is.
that
It is.
perspective. But
Now,
you guys are open-minded.
I will say, I like Pearl in an IK foamer at rinseless dilution, 256-1.
It's very slick.
It works, and it's very slick. In the foamer, works great as a
Mhm.
rinseless foam. The other one that I like, and I've been using, almost regularly now for the last probably 3 months, is American Detailer Garage's Fusion,
Okay.
their new orange color Wipeout Fusion. Um, I
So
like
what makes that unique from
it
Wipeout?
adds a little more cleaning ability, and it's a little more. It can foam a little more, so I've really liked using that product. Um, I like that it cleans a little better than Wipeout does. It
Okay.
has a little more of that eating capability. However, I've noticed that it tends to it doesn't it evaporates a little faster on the
Hmm.
surface. That might just be the temperatures I was using in, but I was just side to side comparison. I noticed that side dries just a little quicker in
Like,
spots.
what kind of environment were you in when
My
you were
garage in the
trying
shade,
it out? Okay.
60
Like,
degrees, 70 degrees. Not
okay.
bad. Not, I mean, pretty
Yeah.
optimal.
That's pretty optimal. Yeah.
But I'll just say I like using it. It's a really nice experience. So, and I like the scent of Fusion. I think it's a really good smell. So,
yeah,
American Detailer Garage Fusion, I really, really like. Um, Again, though, like we said, like Anthony and I said, I still go back to O&R because it's good. So it's difficult, but we're still working.
Yeah.
We're gonna test a bunch more and see what we got.
Yeah, no, the thing I wanted to kind of bring it up was because I felt like it was a good opportunity. This isn't oh, that's better than that is better than that. It's mostly a scenario where I just wanted to get some perspective for people who are like, oh, these guys tend to like these kinds of products, and they said this about this other product. Therefore, if I'm in the same camp as them in terms of the products I use, I will also be interested or not as interested in these particular products. So at least that's giving some people some direction without having to just out and out be like, oh, I'm going to rank these 1 through 10. That's not what's happening here.
Right.
So
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was just,
Um,
some simple evaluation.
yeah. So wrapping that up and going back to Saturday,
Yeah.
PNS launched the Clarity Cream and their window coating, and that was what we were got to
Yeah.
be a part of, as well as Soul, their new
Yeah.
window coating. So we all know their new Iron Busters coming out. Problem is, everybody was on the bandwagon to get that in store, and so they ran out of stock. So for those of you that reached out, yes, we will be carrying it, but we got to wait for them to fill back up and make some more products so they can get that out.
Yeah.
And then, but the new Clarity Cream is their window cleaning polish or glass polish. I am
That's
not a
what
big
she used
fan.
on my car.
Yeah, so I am not a big fan of glass polishes. You guys have heard me talk about this many, many times. Cleaning glass, I've always just used steel wool in a compound. I find it works a little better, or I'll use last cut on my polisher and just polish the glass.
Yep.
I've never been a big fan of specifically made glass polishes because I feel like they haven't ever done anything different. This is the first time I've used a product where I'm thoroughly impressed. And I know Anthony was the same.
Yep.
So we're really excited to get that. Sydney's been working on that with Bob and those guys to get that to market. And it's pretty cool. So I used, she gave me a sample. I took it home and I worked on a car this weekend and used it and really, really liked it. I think
So it
does
wasn't a
great
fluke.
job. No, I did it myself and was able to, get some glass really looking sharp. I'm excited to try it on my own cars too, because I do need to polish out some spots in the glass. But I'm going to see how it does in various situations. But I'm impressed with that. What I was bummed about was I wish I would have gotten like some of the new glass coating.
Okay, that's on my windshield.
Nice. I didn't get that, but you've got that on your windshield, Dane. And then the new coating sole. So that goes on top of Inspiration as a topper, or can be used standalone. Very simple, very easy to install. 1 year coating. Everybody's kind of, and we've said this, Inspiration is a very awesome coating, but a very difficult to install coating. So if you're a first timer and you've never installed a coating, it is not the coating to install. But Sole has remedied that to where Sole is very easy to use. Is going to be very simple for folks to be able to install and get some great results. And
apparently gives gloss coat a run for its money.
Yeah, and if you put Inspiration down, 2 coats of Inspiration and a coat of Sole, you can get up to 5 years of protection. Then top all that with bead maker over the lifetime. I mean, you've got a win-win situation all the way through.
That's something you can buy over the counter without having to have like an installer authorization or anything.
Yeah.
So that's a nice deal.
Pretty impressive. And what I've heard, good things, but I haven't seen it. But Dane, you got it on your hood on the Jag.
Yes, I have it on the hood. So it's the only thing on the hood. She cleared off the other stuff that was on there, which included bead maker and some other stuff. Although I will say there is still Opticoat Pro Plus beneath that. So technically, there's a coating on it. Coating, I guess. But so
we did that on Saturday, so that was fun to just see all those new things that they're bringing out. And then, but Saturday, so Friday, worked on the new wash bay. Then Saturday, I had a car. So my aunt, uncle brought me their Lincoln MKZ and hybrid, and I detailed that and coated it. I had some Crystal Serum Ultra. So I cracked open that bottle and coated that in that for them just to, get my hands around some Ultra and play with that for a bit. Really liked putting that on. That was actually a lot of fun to install. Really loved the gloss and the shine that came with that. And then I used G1 the glass coating, right? And then put that on with G1 and G2 and got the windshield coated, and then the side windows done for them as well. They're going to be driving it down to Colorado in a couple weeks, so I wanted to get that all dialed in. Went through the interior with some Color Lock products, with leather cleaner, with mild leather cleaner, and then use leather shield on all the leather. So got all that handled, and then got to use some of the G-Technic tire dressing. Really a great little product. Like the application, looked really good, feels really good. So it was really fun.
Water-based?
Yeah, water-based. Really fun to be able to just, I love playing with new products, and it was nice to be able to have a set of products to be able to just put on a car and see, how it all worked out, how it looked. And then I got to use the glass polish on it, from P&S. So that was great too. But did that on Saturday. Sunday, kind of just finished the car and then hung out at home.
Nice.
I was exhausted this weekend.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I think just going up and down the ladder with Keith and hanging stuff, and I installed new lights in my garage, so my shoulders were sore and whatnot. But the trailer, my new truck bed trailer, spent the weekend at Les Schwab. It's getting a new
Green
wheel
bean
and tires. Green bean.
Which has its own Instagram page now.
It now has its own Instagram page called Truck Bed Trailer. Go check it out. I think I got like 16 followers. So,
oh man, not bad.
But
not bad.
Weekend, that's where you're going to be able to find all things truck bed life. So you'll get to see other truck bed trailers that I see in the wild. If you see one, feel free to submit it at Truck Bed Trailer. And I'll post it in my stories and stuff. But really a lot of it's cool. So I'm excited to get the trailer back, because I soon as that other wheel arrived, so one wheel was in stock, they got it shipped from the warehouse, and then the other one was out in Portland. So because of COVID, Les Schwab is doing some random, they wait certain days for trucks to leave certain areas. So a Portland to Boise truck doesn't leave till midweek, I think. So I'll get that midweek, and then hopefully I can get it back here. But the trailer's gonna be pretty cool. I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna polish it out, get it looking all shiny and glossy, paint the frame, rewire it, do some fun stuff just to make it actually like a good little trailer.
Presentable.
Yeah, and keep it nice. But all in all, pretty simple little easy weekend. Speaking of which, I forgot I need to remind my buddy to save the wheels that I left in the back of it. My dad reached out, said he wanted those wheels. Thought it would be he needs those for moving around some more trucks. But this is a little sneak preview for all you folks. If I can pull it up here.
Waiting to see.
This is I don't know if you can see. Let me turn off my
cannot see.
Let me turn off my virtual background so that you
I was gonna say, was it the wheels that were different sizes, or was it just same
the
wheels with different tire sizes?
and tires. So the wheels were different offsets and the tires were different sizes. So
so they're completely different.
They're completely different. So one wheel was the proper offset, so it stuck out properly. The other one was like sucked in over the drum, so it was kind of a off center. And then wrong.
Kind of like someone whose leg grew a little bigger than the other one.
Yeah. So then it was kind of short. So anyway, so there's the new tire on there, if you can see it very well.
It looks like a Steely. I can't quite see it, but
so it's a steel, basically known as a Daytona 51 or a D window wheel, and then thrown on the old 295 75 R16 mud terrains that I used to have on the Suburban. So those on there, so it should be pretty dope. Looks really good. It'll be kind of lifted a little bit and look a little more square, hopefully. So should be pretty rad.
Nice.
Yeah, so all in all, pretty simple, easy weekend. Just kind of hung out, made tacos last night for the kids and Carly, and parents came over, and we're getting to a point where I think a lot of you guys, probably not so much because you don't have kids, but I think the hardest thing with COVID and being home has been the fact that like my kids haven't been able to really play with my parents. And I'm sure a lot of listeners are probably going through this. So we kind of talked to my mom this weekend and said, hey, is it a possibility? My mother-in-law, my wife's mom, has been coming over because we're the closest ones. We've been doing things for her. So that way, we've been sharing germs with her just to try and keep her occupied because she lives alone. It's just her by herself. And so we wanted to try and keep her occupied and do stuff with her. And so we've had our kids there, and she's been able to watch them and come over and help out, which has been nice. But it's still the point of like, missing our date nights, so to speak, where my parents take the kids for the night, and my kids are wanting to get out of the house. They keep asking, when can we go to Papa's or Pitas, as they call them. So they've been wanting to get out. So talk to my mom. And she's going to take them one day this week just to get out of the house and go over to her place and hang out for a little bit. And then the following weekend, Father's Day weekend, my mom's going to take them. So I reached out to my dad to see if that's something he wants to start doing too, because we'll be entering into phase 4 of our reopening procedures here in Idaho. So just wanted to see, but my dad's in a little worse health than my mom. So we figured we'd start, and then maybe July we'll be able to send my kids to my dad's and do that kind of stuff.
Sure.
So, but something to think about, like you don't realize, like, that was
you can't take it for granted.
Yeah. And you realize like my kids start asking like, when can we go to Papa's? Because I haven't been over there in 3 months. Like they get so excited. My dad's been driving by, he pulls up and he stays in his car and waves and has a mask on, which is like, my kids are, those of you that have hugged me in the industry know I'm a good hugger. I get that from my dad, and my dad's a big hugger. So this has been really hard for him to not be able to hug his grandkids. And so it's something that, I'm excited about, so that's something I'm looking forward to. But how about you guys?
Oh, no. I'm trying to remember phase 4. That's when it's open to groups larger than what, 200, 250
Something like
people or
that, yeah.
something? Okay. Because I was gonna say a lot of bars and restaurants are open now. Yeah, I hung out with my buddy over the weekend at one, and nobody in there was wearing a mask. It wasn't overly crowded or anything, but you kind of wonder. But
Yeah.
I had mine on me, and it was just like,
Was this
okay,
in Meridian?
yeah.
That's
So
well,
yeah, that was just
yeah. Well, what other people don't know is like our city, Boise, like really went heavy on, quarantine and closures and restaurants and all, but like Meridian, Eagle, Nampa kind of didn't.
they're
Surrounding,
very they're built like suburbs. It's kind of bedroom communities and
yeah,
stuff, but there's definitely more of a rural attitude to the whole area. So you get a little more of that, and yeah, it kind of shows when you're out and
yeah.
about.
But you
So
could still like some of the restaurants were still open, right, guys?
yeah, yeah. hmm it was definitely they had very particular pacing at the door. They'd be like, okay, wait outside, check around. Okay, now I can bring you in. You can go over here. It is careful, as far as the businesses go. They're all trying to take it very seriously. But you can tell, like when it comes to the folks actually attending these places and things, probably a good 75% of them, at least in Meridian where I'm at, are kind of over the whole thing, which I realize like other states, it's still crazy where you are. Totally get it. But at least here in Idaho, it definitely seems like a lot of folks are like, all right, I'm done with that. Moving on. Let's just reopen. So yeah, you have that attitude for better or for worse. It's just kind of the way it is around here. So yeah, no, it definitely shows because people are tired of being cooped up at home. But,
Yeah.
as far as other things going on, I mean, detailing wise, we definitely have a lot we've covered recently with our FAQ videos. I wanted to
Oh,
take
that's
a
right.
moment
Yeah.
to talk more about the FAQ channel because I'm very happy to report people have taken to it. Like, it's not a huge subscriber base yet, but there were probably about 170, 160 who are subscribed to it right now. And
Yeah,
if
oh
you
yeah.
aren't one of those people, get over there, subscribe to it right now.
Well,
I promise, if you started watching our videos because you wanted to learn more about detailing stuff or you had questions, this is the channel. This is what it's all about.
Yep. I'm looking at it
So
right
I
now.
was
We have
gonna open it up to Levi here.
160 subscribers in this bad boy right now. We're doing great.
Nice. No, that's good. And a lot of the folks are already in there asking questions, giving us new ideas for future videos, which is great. The idea behind it was just to basically create a video version of our FAQ page on our site, but expand from there because you get questions coming in every single day through email, through comments, through DMs that you feel like I answered this in a video. And sure, maybe you did in one of our older videos on our main channel, but it was buried in 15 minutes of other stuff. So the little
yeah,
nuggets of information don't get conveyed to people because they're
right.
either not willing to sit through a whole video or they just didn't know it was there. And that you
Yeah.
can't tell people everything that's in a video through the title or description unless you just want to spend all day writing a description word for word exactly what happens, which nobody does that really. But these FAQs, they break it down, they're direct, they're to the point, and it's each one of you guys, and I'll even do a few coming up here and get Morgan in there. But yeah, it'll basically be something where we are targeting specific questions people have, answer that, and then you can share it around with whoever asked the question. Here's a direct response to that. So that way it can kind of do the work when you're not able to,
Well, and
answer all the
the,
emails and comments and questions.
the point is, if you want a snarky answer from us, you can go there, or you can get a helpful answer. But the point is, like, it's just we can't keep answering a lot of these email questions, and a lot of them are, how do we reach the most
It's the
people
same
possible?
stuff
You know,
over and over. Yeah.
how do we reach the most people possible and answer that question? And hopefully, people, possibly if they're searching or they're on, they just search, the SEO will pull that up and they'll get that video and they go, oh man, that's great, because I just noticed that the other day. I need to replace the serpentine belt on the Suburban. And I got
hmm
a Gates branded serpentine belt, Gates branded idler pulley, and Gates branded tensioner the other day. And I need to put all those on. So I start Googling that stuff. And there's one video that shows just the belt, how it goes on. But and then I had to find separate videos on the idler pulley and the tensioner. And so it was just kind of funny, like that there's not just one video that shows like replacement for an 8.1 serpentine belt with pulley and idler, tensioner together. And so in my head, I thought, well, this is what's going to be great about the FAQ channel. So if you have a question about how to install bead maker, or why is my bead maker streaking? You're just bead maker streaking. Here's the answer. What's the one of the ones was 5 and 6 inch pads, or Anthony was doing a couple of them on just what
is a quick detailer
streak, what's a quick detail, how do I use a quick, what is it? It's just simple, easy question and answers that they may seem very basic to a lot of people, but you got to remember there are new people every day coming into this industry. They've got these questions, and especially now, we saw a resurgence in 2008 in the industry, and a lot of growth in that industry because people lost their jobs, and they started looking at jobs that they could make money in, that they could do, because right now maybe their field got, whatever. It just, a lot of stuff happened in 2008. But what we noticed was a lot of people came into the detailing industry, for good and for bad, but that caused a kind of a growth in the education of the industry, but also the ability to, as information expanded, people have started looking towards detailing as an actual career in the form of entrepreneurship and starting their own business. And this is how I'm going to do this. And I'm going, we've got more detailers going to college to learn how to run a business and detailing cars, which we never had. And so having that and having these people coming in, there's always going to be this entry level questions that they just have that question. And for folks like myself who've been in the industry for a very, very long time, it may seem very, like, oh, I can't believe you don't know that. But it's with everything, If I've got a question for drywall or, a roofer, I'll talk to a guy who's been a roofer for 23 years, and it may be something that I don't know how to do, but that's their bread and butter. And they can go,
he's got a way to save your time without cutting corners, different stuff you can do.
Yeah. And it's something that we've always discussed throughout the rag company is, learning how to use those tools and how to better yourself and educate yourself. And this is just an extension of that.
Well, and by that same token, another thing I want to point out is, there's a lot of people who are looking to become professional detailers and they want to know, hey, where do I start? That's great. We can definitely help with some like technique questions we answer, stuff like that. That'll be coming, obviously. We're building it as we go. But for people who just like they're casually interested in taking care of their car, they're not necessarily going to become a detailer, but they're like, I want to take care of my stuff. I bought this product from the rag company. Oh yeah, they got a question answered here that says something about the product. Let me check it out. It's meant to be like, oh, I bought bead maker. Well, what can I put it on? What can't I put it on? Or can I put it on top of a wax or a coating? That kind of stuff. We're trying to answer those kinds of questions so people can just get their quick hit, their fact that they're looking for. Boom, got it. Gonna go put it on my car now that I know it's okay, and move on. And it'll be good for those people too. It's meant to really be an all-encompassing channel without being compromised by having these little data points trapped inside a larger video, which, hey, we love doing. We all love that talk. Why else would we have a podcast channel? But at the same time, in the videos, you guys do get a little chatty, a little rambly, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's your personalities, and that's why a good chunk of people tune in. But we also have a solid customer base or viewership who are generally the very vocal minority who leave comments like, way too much talking, video starts at 11 minutes, somebody else responds, thanks fam, and then it goes on from there. It's basically like, all right, we get it. So this channel is meant for those folks and everybody else too, but especially those who just want their nugget of information and then to GTFO. So that's kind of
That's
what we're
one way to
about.
say it, Dane.
Oh, well, that's what I say, but a little snark went a long way. But
Yeah.
point
Yeah.
made, I think. But yeah, no, I'm really excited about it. I look forward to seeing it grow, and I'm going to bring it up a lot, at least for these first
Yeah.
few months, just trying to get people to go check it out. I'm including it now on our channel. Like if you're looking on a computer, you should see it in the featured channels on both our podcast and our main channel. It's the one that has kind of the yellow looking version of our logo, so it kind of pops, it kind of sticks out. I designed that just to kind of be more attention grabby because that's the one I really want people to find when they're searching. So hopefully it works, but it only works if you guys are actually sharing it and watching it, and it encourages YouTube to take their algorithm and go, hey, these are actually getting views. We're going to push these out to more folks. That's what we want.
Yep.
So yeah, that's kind of my plug for it. But I really hope you consider going and subscribing because that's what's going to make it grow. That's what's going to help us out, and it's going to help other people out looking for detailing info. So yeah, I think that's my main plug. But as far as other stuff goes, you guys got anything left to add here? I feel like we're doing this at the end of the day, so this is a
Yeah,
little
kind
unusual.
of
We normally do these in
Yeah.
the morning.
Well, we had a lot of little things we had to get done today.
Yeah.
Yep.
Kind of threw us all off a little bit. So hopefully next week we'll be maybe broadcasting this from our new studio space, from the new podcast
Hoping
studio.
so. Yeah.
Which would be
Ooh.
pretty awesome to be able to kind of unveil it for you guys. I know Gabe has been working furiously with Tim to get that thing set up. So that'll be really cool. But yeah, we're, with Morgan being gone, it's kind of been we just worked a lot this weekend and this week.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of felt like a short weekend, even though it was just because of the PNS thing. And so,
Yeah, our Saturdays were a little occupied, so
Yeah.
yeah, had that going. But as far as other stuff, yeah, no, I don't know if people caught in the Facebook group, the Rag Company podcast discussion group, which is our fun page on Facebook, where I posted the pictures of us in our cars and stuff.
yeah.
Those are going to become the wall art that sits behind us in
Yep.
the podcast
Yep.
studio. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that turns out. But those who saw them, yeah, fun pictures, right?
Yeah.
And
So
yeah.
while we were setting this all up and waiting for everybody to get on, we started having a bit of a conversation that I want to put forth
All right,
with our
here we go.
podcast
Here it is.
brethren. This is probably going to be one of those new additions in
Controversy.
TRC lore. This is a new TRC lore for the podcast. So Anthony brought up about sloppy joes, how
Yeah.
great they are, how delicious they are.
Delicious. Yeah.
I talked about my undying love for sloppy joes as well, how much I enjoy them. I enjoy making them. I enjoy eating them. My children love them. It's probably one of
they're
the
fun.
it's one of the only things that my kids will both eat at the same time.
Yeah.
And then Dane basically told us how much he disliked sloppy joes because
Now I'm gonna clarify. I said I used to love them, and I've fallen out of love with them in recent times. I've just felt like probably in the last
How recent?
5-6 years,
5 or
interest
6
has
years.
just gone
last time
downhill.
your passion.
The last time I voluntarily
Joe passion
had
is
a
fallen.
sloppy Joe was probably 6 or 7 years ago.
Well,
Okay.
Dane, it's all in the sauce. And so what I'm thinking is that you've gotten bored or you've grown tired of the sauce, not necessarily the concept of sloppy joes, because what, you don't like burgers, you don't like meat in the bun?
Meat and sauce?
Yeah.
No, see, I love meat, but the consistency of it
so-
makes a difference.
This Wikipedia article that I pulled up let me know that they were known as a loose meat sandwich.
Delicious.
That raises
So,
all kinds of questions.
No
thought that
questions
was-
at all. I
thought
love
that. Was
that.
very funny. But sounds delicious. Originally, they were known as toasted deviled hamburgers. Dane, you
Ooh.
love
Deviled hamburgers. I like that. That's a
deviled
fun little
hamburgers.
flourish of the language there.
Chopped meat sandwich, Spanish hamburgers, Hamburg a la Creole,
Ooh.
Meriton, and minced beef, Spanish style. So
Now, see, that makes perfect sense.
Dane, how about this idea, right? What if you were to take sloppy joes, right? Just like your base meat and sauce, right? what if you were to chop up small pieces of bacon and throw it into the mix, right?
Oh,
It's
delightful.
a bacon beef sloppy Joe. Would you be more down for that?
See, here's where we're running into the issue. It's not that
Yep.
I don't like them. It's not that I hate them. I am fine with them. But to me, there's just so many other kinds of, like, I love barbecue sandwiches, pulled pork brisket, roast beef, any of that stuff. Those are great. But it's the consistency of a sloppy Joe that just kind of makes me, I don't care for it as much. It's all about the consistency, though. I
Dane,
like
Here's
the
what I'm
meat a little
saying.
here's the
more
deal.
stripped
You
or
can
solid,
eat
or
you can
yeah.
eat 4 sloppy Joe sandwiches, or you can have 1 pulled pork sandwich. What are you gonna have the most fun doing? I
Or
want to eat
sloppy
more.
joes.
More
Give me
sloppy
the
Joes,
pulled
right?
pork,
Yep,
man,
me too.
every time.
No.
No
Dane,
question. I am
that
about the
is
pulled pork.
no, no. See,
See,
so
this is where we have the debate, and I love it. So I'm looking forward to what other people
I
have to
just
say in the
I
comments.
think
I
I
just
I think
don't
pulled pork
care
is
for them.
great, right?
It's
But like a sloppy Joe, right? Like basically served to you on a soft potato bun, right?
Delightful.
Extra a little bit of flavor added, right? So if you want to you go with the bold sauce, or if you want to add in a little bit of your own barbecue and ketchup, maybe a little bit of sriracha, really spice it up.
You can polish that
Slicely,
turd as much as you want.
Dane, there's
So
no
Dane,
turds to be polished.
yeah, Dane,
Those polish themselves
I
out.
want to challenge you. Get yourself a can of Manwich. Okay. Get
Okay.
yourself some brisket.
Hmm.
Make those together.
Ooh, yeah,
Get
yeah.
yourself some cheddar.
Oh my
Like
God.
sharp,
Yep.
sharp cheddar, right? Or
Delicious.
extra sharp, right?
Ooh, yeah.
Big, thick, hearty slices of it.
Sargento,
Maybe,
perhaps.
yeah, some Sargento. Maybe maybe you and Liz go out and get some brioche, and or like Anthony said, the potato bun, or get
Yeah.
this sweet Hawaiian bread,
Oh my goodness.
right?
See
Next
what you're
level.
describing.
Build
I love.
yourself the
An
Dane
Islander
sloppy Joe,
manwich.
a
Yeah.
sloppy Dane.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love all of these things.
I want to see this recipe.
My issue occurs
I
with the
want you to
actual
document that.
consistency of the meat. That's where my issue is.
Right, but
It's
you
just
said
Dane,
the
no
loose
problem with
nature
pulled
of the
pork.
meat. I'm
Dane,
not.
We
if
know you
it's
don't
just
like
a
this meat.
texture thing, like,
It's
so
a
here's the
texture
deal.
thing.
You could gum that burger. You could gum that manwich.
It's
So
like
if that doesn't,
basically it's if you took like Taco Bell beef from one of their like hard shell tacos and
But
you
it's
just
your
filled
beef.
that and then
You're the
threw it
one
with like a
making the
nice sauce
beef.
on top of it. That's how I feel about it. I'm just
Manwich
like,
can
it's
be
just
built
loose, it's just
however you
flesh.
want. The sloppy
No,
Joe
see,
can have
if
whatever
it's
meat cut you
it's
need.
Dane,
all that's my issue with the
I
meat.
don't
If it's
understand.
actual like shredded brisket,
So
stuff like
build
that,
it.
whatever,
Yeah,
I'm
that's what
good
I'm
with it.
saying. Get
the
yourself
the
Yeah.
some shredded
idea is
brisket
that
and the
okay. The
manwich
idea,
sauce.
Dane, the idea is that these backwoods trailer people could take any type of ground meat they wanted, cover it in the manwich sauce, and literally create the signature manwich flavor without having to really worry about the meat. But
Yep.
being a person, right, who
That's
is
the
very
logic, yeah.
picky and can invest in a higher quality meat outside of squirrel and other type of varmint, you can get yourself a good quality burger. And I'm saying that it just takes a little bit of time. And what I really like is the extra bold, thick sauce, because it tends to kind of clump it together more, right?
Yep. Yep.
And you can't quite do that same thing with like raccoon meat or any type of
Right.
other
Yeah, exactly.
marsupial. So
Right on.
So this
it
is
is
where
really
I'm
nice.
really making sure that I'm clarifying for people who think that I hate all barbecue sandwiches. I love
So,
barbecue sandwiches.
Dane,
I am very specifically targeting the loose, mushy ground beef version that people know as a sloppy Joe. I don't care for that consistency. I don't
so
like that.
here you go, Dane.
But the sauce
4
applied to different
flavors of
meat,
manwich.
okay.
Original bourbon barbecue.
Oh, that sounds good.
And thick and chunky.
Ooh,
One of
oh,
each.
great
Get one can of
choices.
each and a large quantity of brisket from your.
Dane,
From
I
the,
could see you going with the
I will
bourbon
sooner
barbecue,
take a
having that
glorious
thing,
grilled
the whiskey
cheese and
sour.
tomato soup over
Oh,
a sloppy Joe.
I could see Dane.
If
like,
we're talking like
head into Goodwood.
4-man sandwich, I will take that grilled cheese and tomato soup all day long over a sloppy Joe. That's just me though. Other barbecue sandwiches though, absolutely. You can toss that grilled cheese aside for a really good brisket sandwich or some kind of like awesome pork or something. That's okay.
Here's our plan. So we've got a Dickie's barbecue pit right around the corner. We go get some of their brisket. Get ourselves like a pound of brisket.
Yeah. Yeah.
Chop it up. Get it all chopped up, looking all sharp.
Ooh.
Then you and I I'll bring the truck bed trailer. We'll bring a little camp stove.
Ooh, camper, yeah.
We'll cook up some of the flavors of manwich sauce.
Ooh, yeah.
Brisket. Bring some buns and some cheese.
Yeah.
And we'll video which one Dane likes the best.
I love that
Okay.
idea. Like, if that's
All
not
right.
a christening of the truck bed trailer, then I don't know what is.
Great idea. I think that could be very well.
I'd be afraid to know what else would be.
I think a lot of people would love to watch that. I'd love to see that. And I think it'd be a delicious afternoon.
All right.
No,
well,
I'm down with that.
I think that that's a great game plan. I think that we've gone on this a little bit too long now, so we'll just make it happen.
Oh no, just the right amount.
We will make sure that people know what our results are. So without further ado, Dane, I think that's it. So you can take it away.
That's it? That's all you guys got?
That's
okay.
Yeah, we're there.
I guess
you
that
agree with us.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't be any fun if I just agreed with you all the time, would it?
Yes.
No, I don't think so. So we've got to have a very, very particular. It would, but that's not fun. That's not, you can't have a good show without some kind of dramatic elements. It doesn't have to be TM drama, but just something
Dane,
more.
just in closing,
conflict.
Ground turkey and textured vegetable proteins may also be used as a substitute for ground beef when making a sloppy Joe. Now listen.
Sure, if you want to be disappointed.
Sloppy Joe differs from a traditional loose meat or tavern sandwich due largely to its tomato-based sauce.
That may be also some of that, because I like tomatoes and tomato-based sauce, like ketchup and stuff like that's fine. But the sauce, other barbecue, I'm much more about I like Carolina Gold, stuff like that. More vinegar kind of based stuff I really like. Those sorts of things, but that's a conversation for another day, I guess. So any rate, I think this has been a fun one. I look forward to the debate raging in the comments below. I'm sure we'll have some interesting perspectives, because I just can't leave well enough alone, and I hope I inspire other people to be more exacting in their evaluations of things as well. So not to be a D-bag about it, but it's just a little bit of fun. A Dane bag about it. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to say, once again, if you're not already on there, go check out the FAQ channel. Seriously. It will be worth your while. We had somebody who literally left a comment that said, I wasn't going to subscribe to this because I thought, what's the point? And then I actually watched a few, and now I realize I subscribed to it immediately after watching 2 of your videos. Done.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there it is. And hopefully that convinces you to do it too. So with all that said, guys, thank you for watching. We'll catch you next time. Adios.
See ya.
See ya.